Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
Alabama Republican officials are condemning the murder of the Ukrainian refugee on a North Carolina train, criticizing Democratic policies for allowing repeat offenders to be released and calling for stricter crime measures, with U.S. Senator Katie Britt aptly saying this murderer had a rap sheet a mile long. He was arrested 14 times. He should have never been on that train to begin with. Democrat-run cities are overrun with crime, and their leaders refuse to do anything about it. Absolutely 100% true, and it is an outrage what we are seeing here across this country with this crime. Well, everyone says, oh, crime rates are down. Yeah, I mean, they're down from even higher numbers. That's accurate, but they are nowhere near where they should be if we actually tried to stop this nonsense.
Number 6.
President Donald Trump is expressing anger at Russia's drone incursion into Polish airspace, reaffirming a U.S. report and offering their support for a NATO ally known as Poland, we all know that, and discussing new sanctions on Russia with European officials. Now, there are some arguments being made by the Russians that these drones were jammed and flew off course. I don't think many people are believing that. It doesn't sound like Donald Trump believes this. It looks like Trump has come to the conclusion that the attempts to bring peace through Vladimir Putin and his summit have failed. And it is time to maybe move on to the next phase of this, and that may be crippling the Russian economy and trying to bend their will that way. But what happens when you back them into a corner? What happens there? We're going to find out, maybe.
Number 5.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has criticized President Donald Trump's newest threats to deploy the National Guard to Chicago as a, quote, power grab, while Operation Midway Blitz continues with ICE raids targeting criminals. And those raids are drawing angry crowds that Pritzker wants. He said it. He said, I never thought I'd call for protests, but I'm doing it. I'm calling for it. And he says that this is just a power grab ahead of the 2026 elections, and we may not even have an election. See, this is the kind of rhetoric that we're talking about here, where we sit here and pretend that there's not going to be elections and democracy is at stake and democracy is on the ballot and all this other stuff. Everyone's a fascist. They're trying to take your rights away. There's an outcome and a problem with that you're going to see, and we're seeing it right now. Meanwhile, 141,000 Americans have tried to join ICE.
Number 4.
The man that many in Alabama politics believe is incredibly smart, and they will say so repeatedly, maybe the smartest man in Alabama, or the smartest man in Alabama politics. He is the retirement system of Alabama CEO, David Bronner, who is now warning that President Donald Trump's volatile policies, including tariffs and immigration crackdowns, threaten Alabama's $56 billion retirement fund. By the way, stocks are closing at record highs. Inflation numbers are steady, and the RSA State House contractor faced illegal labor busts. Let me tell you something about David Bronner. He's playing with phony money. Every time he loses, it doesn't matter because the Alabama legislature has to pay the actual freight for the retirement system of Alabama. It's a defined benefit. The teachers and others get that retirement money no matter what.
Number 3.
Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk was assassinated yesterday at Utah Valley University as he was answering questions from the crowd. Ironically enough, he was answering questions about mass shootings and political violence. And he made it very clear that there were many transgender shootings over the last couple of years, and they are high-profile mass shootings, and they are targeted political shootings. That's when he was shot. And the argument the audience member was making was there are so many other mass shootings that don't involve transgenders. And I will say this. The way most of us look at mass shootings are the targeted attacks on schools, churches, etc. But if you look at the actual number of shootings that they consider mass shootings, it's gang violence and all this other stuff. The targeted mass shootings and gang violence stuff, I think, should be separated, as Rich said earlier. But he caked it in such nonsense. It's ridiculous.
Number 2.
President Donald Trump released an Oval Office message calling Charlie Kirk a martyr for truth and freedom following that assassination. And this is really a outrageous situation that has drawn reactions from across the globe and across social media. The social media responses have been vile. All you have to do is go to Libs of TikTok and you will see individuals celebrating and laughing about this. One in Middle Tennessee, at Middle Tennessee State University, a professor cheered on this death and has been fired because of it. And you're going to see a lot of this. The dean of students at Middle Tennessee University has been fired for her comments celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Looks like old Charlie spoke his fate into existence. Hate begets hate, zero sympathy. And she's not even right about the issue.
Now, time for the number one thing you'll be talking about today.
Alabama leaders and conservatives mourn Charlie Kirk's fatal shooting at Utah Valley University. The University of Alabama held a prayer vigil for him because there is a Turning Point USA event there, or chapter there, excuse me. And it is just incredibly sad. This guy, Charlie Kirk, I'm not saying he was the most important figure of the 2024 election, but he's close. He's up there. He went to college campuses, and the shift in college students towards President Donald Trump and Republicans, it's related to him and Turning Point USA. I mean, that's true. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. He is a guy who I think had a massive impact on the last presidential election. And his killing, which appears to be a targeted assassination at this point, will be a bit of an issue because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to have some serious problems with this. Let's take a quick timeout. We shall return right here on WVNN. If you want to get your thoughts in, you can do so. 866-494-WVNN. We'll be right back.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.